This is the Code Nation Volunteer Training Intro to Web Development Rubric Grading Session. In this video, volunteer coders will learn to grade student projects independently using the Code Nation rubric. We measure student mastery through objective-driven projects that are completed every unit. This gives us continuous data on whether students are able to apply the skills they learned to solve real problems. Project rubrics ask students to apply certain skills somewhere in their project. This is an example of the Unit 5 objectives and the Unit 5 project rubric. You can see that the objectives on the left are very similar to the rubric rows on the right. For example, Objective 5.1 says, use jQuery to select, show, and hide HTML elements. The third row on the rubric says, uses jQuery.show and/or .hide action. If students are able to complete all of the rubric rows, this shows that they have mastered all of the objectives for the unit. However, we are not limiting them on where they can place the objective in their project. In order to record grades, we ask volunteers to enter grades in two different spots. The first place you will enter grades is in the Code Nation Gradebook. You will grade the projects for students assigned in your zone within 1 week of the due date. You will see your name where it says Teacher Grading, and those are the students that you will be responsible for. Include a link to the project, which you can find in Google Classroom. If students did not submit anything, write missing under project link so that program managers know to follow up with that student. Students will receive a 1, 2, or 3 in each rubric row. We do not give zeros for grades except in the extensions column. Students will receive a 3 if they executed that objective correctly, a 2 if they had some errors, and a 1 if it was not included in their project at all. Include a comment for each student that has at least one positive and one area for growth. Once you've completed the Code Nation gradebook, you will transfer those grades into Google Classroom so that both the teacher liaison and students can see their grades. When you log into the assignment in Google Classroom, you'll see a list of all of the students where you can type their grade and the comment and then post that. After you finish grading all of your students, don't forget to click Return so that the student can see what grade you've given them. In all of our projects, we also have an independent problem-solving row in our rubric. We understand that students are used to receiving a lot of assistance during projects. In order to track and assess this row shows us how much independent problem-solving students have done. In order for this to work, volunteers will need to stay in their zones so that they'll have the knowledge to best assess student independence. You will see that in order for a student to receive all 3 points, they will have to complete all of the tasks independently without relying on support from teachers or peers. Instead, we'll want them to use their resources like Google and their reference table. This does not mean students are not allowed to ask questions. This just means that as a volunteer, you will direct them to use their resources if they can. We also track both grades and mastery. You will see on the left side of the rubric that each student receives a grade. This grade is what goes in the gradebook and is used for teachers and students for their school. However, not all rows in the rubric are objectives for that unit. The new objectives for that unit will be in orange, and those orange rows will count towards student mastery, which is on the right. This is an internal Code Nation percentage that we use to track mastery for each unit and does not include objectives that were learned in previous units. We know that teachers and volunteers have a lot of different ideas about grading. However, our grading philosophy is that we want to give accurate grades and record accurate data, and we want to help students celebrate their achievements and to give them clear action steps for improvement. If you have any questions about rubric grading, please reach out to your program manager so they can assist you with any help.